It's to Ms. Vanderbilt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you to all the witnesses for your testimony. I'd like to start my first question to Ms. Martel, and I want to pick up on what you were saying about the fact that whatever we do, we need to be listening to Haitian feminists and to civil society in Haiti. So my question to you is, and I know that you mentioned the sexual violence in the context of international forces, and it sounds like you are saying that the women in Haiti are not asking for an international force. So it's more along the humanitarian lines. And you know that Canada is the second largest humanitarian donor to Haiti after the United States. And we also just contributed $10 million to the UNDP Basket Fund, which is specifically on building capacity of the police and security forces. Is this the right direction? Should we continue on the humanitarian side on building up the capacity of Haitian authorities to be able to bring back law and order? Is that what the women in Haiti are asking for, as opposed to an international force?
Thank you for that question. First of all, I don't want to speak on behalf of Haitian feminists. They've got their own struggle, and they present that publicly. But I would like to answer by saying the following. For example, civil society groups, including women's groups, who are part of those who are challenging the system today, they're the ones who have mobilized themselves a great deal when there were cases of sexual assault. So it's Haitian women's groups who really denounced this, who talked about the situation and called out the impunity around the soldiers that were sent to back home and did not undergo justice in Haiti. So that's why the idea of having an international military intervention such as the one that we've had in the past is something that these people believe really is not the solution given the situation with sexual violence. There are certain organizations that exist in Haiti who've been working on this for decades. The women's movement in Haiti is one of the biggest movements that really spoke out against dictatorship and really mobilized. It's very solid. The women's movement is very solid in Haiti. They're working on women's health and against domestic violence. And unfortunately, the last times when the international community intervened, we didn't take account of their expertise. And we hope it will be different today because there's lots of sexual violence cases that have been mentioned by Ms. Aslan earlier. And we need to work with these women's organizations because they know how to respond and what to do in the current situation to support the victims and survivors. I hope I've answered your question.
That is the essence of our international feminist international assistance policy, to make sure that we are listening to the expertise of local women. My second question is for Madame Aslan, and it's specifically around you were talking about the gangs and the violence by the gangs, and we've heard in this committee from a children's rights advocate in Haiti, we've heard that the gangs are also made up of victims. They are children who have been forcibly separated from their families, who are then recruited into these gangs. And so they're victims too. So I guess my question to you is, what do we do about that? Because obviously the answers are not simple when the very people committing the violence are victims themselves.
Yes, it's a very complicated question. And Asian partners with whom we're working have told us. We know the heads, the leaders of the gangs, and the big question is the fact that there's arms, there's weapons coming into Haiti. That's why they're armed gangs. So we have to control our borders, stop this at the border, because there's big transfer of weapons coming from Miami, amongst others, and that is really shocking organizations a great deal. They want us to act on that end, because if there's less weapons or no weapons coming in, then we would cut off the supply and we would stop this explosion of gang violence. That is why we think that we don't need to go for military intervention, but we need to back up, reinforce the Haitian police force. We'd started to do this. Canada had carried out training of police officers in Haiti, and we need to really redouble efforts and support them so they can play the correct role and stop those who are responsible for all of this, because the impunity at the moment is just reinforcing their power. And we also have to look after the victims by dealing with the poverty issue. We're doing it through education. But, it's very difficult to go back to school currently because the roads are blocked. That's too dangerous. So if we cannot support a political transition, if we do not support the police forces to play their role, because, of course, they're under threat themselves, it's not simple at all.